welcome to the Big BZB show, where we are following me, your host, B, into the world of audio and music industry. Hopefully, you will enjoy what we have going here. So, without me just going into so much detail, of course, if you're this far along, then you already kind of know what it is that we do here. So, quick overview, preview, update, however you want to put it. I am currently enrolled in school learning music production. Now, you might say, not that big of a deal, right? And for most part, maybe not. And maybe for some, it doesn't really matter. But the biggest thing about this actual podcast here is not just that storyline, but the one that led up to that point. So, here I am. I'm in my late 30s, and I just enrolled in my first college, and to top that off, I am newly divorced from a 15-year marriage, and I ended up with 4 wonderful kids. So let's just don't get that one too mistaken there. I did end up with some amazing little me's, so that's a positive, right? Okay, so no. I found myself one day wondering, what is it that I'm doing? Who am I? How did I get to this point? And so, needless to say, as things changed over time, I finally reached a breaking point to where it was sacrifice everything I got and just don't worry about me being me, be miserable and make everybody else's life miserable, or step away from it, get out of the relationship, and pursue and follow the dreams that you've always wanted to do. So, here we are. I am still at the very beginning of this, as you can probably tell, because the audio is probably half-assy. Sorry for that one. Excuse the language in some of these. But, needless to say, it's at the beginning. I don't have intro, outro, any of the proper stuff that I did have, because my goofy whatever happened to drop his phone while riding a motorcycle. And needless to say, they make pretty good tough phones. But the highway at 70 doesn't really match very well with a plastic phone. So, new phone, new app, which is allowing me to broadcast this, put this out here to you all. But the problem is, they do not keep your audio on their system. You keep it on your phone or your computer, and you transfer it over. So, yeah, we're stuck with, right now, kind of a redoing of the actual audio intros and outros. And we haven't got one made yet, but we're working on it, okay? So that's another good direction that we're heading in. But anyways, so that's what we're doing here. Following me in this journey of pursuing my dreams of being in the music business. And I said at the beginning of this actual podcast that what we was going to do was our goal, I guess you could say, our goal was to make a top 100, yes, top 100 single, have something to do with the producing of it. Whether it's some type of writing it. So we're going to try to learn how to be a writer, songwriter. We're going to learn how to play music. We're going to learn how to use a digital audio workstation, which most call a DAW. We're going to learn how to use a DAW. We're going to learn multiple music theories. Me personally, I'm going to try to bring to the table the piano. I'm going to learn a little bit of the chords and try to convey those things along to you all as we go through this. So that's where we are, and here I am. So let's get to it. So last time we got together on here, we talked about a few of the classes that I'd been through, and I did a brief summary, some things you needed to think about, some things you needed to kind of do a self-check on. But these were things leading up to us pretty much saying, yes, this is where we want to do. This is what we're going to do full-fledged, because that's kind of where we are right now in this whole thing, is what I like to call it, this is your gut check time. Like, you need to check yourself right now. And it seems like it would be I don't know really how you would say it. If you would say by name, I don't know what you call it, be honest about it. Like, it would be something that you would automatically think people would have done coming to this point, or it's something that you think automatically people do it, and so if they pick this, then they've already accomplished this, they've already went through all the process, they know they're ready. But in all honesty, have you really checked yourself at this point in time with some of these things that we're going to talk about? Sorry, I think my allergies are kicking up a little bit, so excuse me if I get too off on sneezing or coughing or choking, or if I start choking too bad, you might want to holler at somebody. But no, I'm just playing. Just playing. You do not have to. I will be okay. So let's get to the nitty gritty of our conversation today. So as I went through this next class, it seemed, I don't know, really, to be completely honest about it, at first I wanted to say, really, I got to take this class, behavioral science. But in a sense, it has been, up until this point, probably one of the better classes that I've had to take. So you have some of your basic science, math, this, and this that you have to take, your general subjects. And then we get in depth with our degrees. So with that being said, behavioral science is a general class. Everybody, whether in film, in music, in audio, in drawing, all the above, they all have to take these classes. These are your general classes to get your degrees. So I took it. I just went on, dived right into it, was like, all right, we'll see how this goes. And like I said, it turned out to be one of the most eye-opening classes that I have yet to really have in this journey. And I applaud the teachers and really instructors, as most of them rather be associated as or affiliated as. I really have to applaud the instructors on how they approached this exact one. I can only applaud one, but I'm sure across the board, all of you were amazing. If any of you are listening, thank you. If any of you are not, well, I would say the other, but that's just rude, so I won't. But here is the gist of the whole subject in general, and that's where I come up with the gut check. Of course, yes, here I am. I am, of course, a more southern, as you can have come to notice. And so some of my sayings, maybe not a lot of people understand when I say gut check. So what I'm saying is you need to put yourself in check and say, all right, whatever your name is, as in for me, hey B, are you ready to do this? Like, do you understand the sacrifices and the possibilities of failure? Do you have the mentality to, no matter what failure comes your way, that to be successful within this, you have to step one more step up? No matter what the failure is, like, there is no failure that knocks you out permanently. Now, this is very important. You understand that whatever bad thing that comes your way, it cannot take you out. Like, this is not a we'll see how things go anymore. Because we didn't get to that point. Like, you've done made it this far. This is the end of the road of this thing that we're trying to do. We've got past that. Because if we make it, the only way we can make it is to say we will make it. That we cannot stop. Like, you cannot stop until you make it, because that's the only ones that make it. I mean, it makes sense. And you say it, but do you really realize what that partakes of? For sure, I don't know either. We know really bad stories. We know really good stories of different people in different circumstances getting these opportunities and doing these things and being great. But do we understand that we have to face both of their challenges, the good story and the bad story, and keep moving and progressing and not let anything stop us? Because if we're going to let something stop us, we just can't do this. It's just not possible. Like, are you going to step up, or are you going to step out? And it sounds simple, but it's very complicated. There's very intricate things that happen, that will happen, that are going to happen. And while some of it probably will crush us inside and out, we can't let it stop. So, say, okay, you got the willingness. Inside of you right now, you got the willingness to move forward with this. Okay, great. You're right there with me, because I got the willingness, right? I'm ready. I'm going to do this. How are you going to do it? How are you going to keep moving forward?